We're about to send my close personal friend, our Edmonton Bureau Chief Ryan Rishaug, on a well-deserved vacation for All-Star Week. But while the Oilers are on their bye week, Ryan, let's talk about these Oilers. These Oilers are incredible. 16 straight wins. Who would have ever thought about it? I mean, it wasn't long ago. We weren't sure this team was going to make the playoffs. Just, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what's gone right because there's so many things. But overall, in your opinion, what's made this team capable of this turnaround?
I'll point to two things, Jay. I'll point to almost having their season fall through their hands, feeling the stress and the weight of a year where so many people were picking them to make the Stanley Cup final, if not win it all. And at the beginning, it just went poof at the beginning of the year. And I think what they experienced in that time, the stress they were under, the disappointment, I think that's fueling them. I think this is a group that's still playing like they're just scrambling for their playoff lives, right? Like their system clicked into kind of this crazy panic mode of winning games, and they haven't really clicked out. So I think what they went through earlier this year is probably playing a big role. The other part is keeping pucks out of the net, which is interesting because if you'd have told me, hey, Ryan, the Oilers are going to go on a 16-game heater, I'd say, how'd the power play do and how many points did McDavid have? Well, it hasn't been about either of those things, Jay. It's been about amazing goaltending from Stuart Skinner. It's been about, 2 goals or less in 14 consecutive games, which has been unbelievable. It's about a penalty kill that has been the best in the league in this time. This streak has been built on defense and keeping pucks out of the nets. So this is a resilient group that has figured out how to defend at a high level, and it's been sustainable.
Excellent points by you. You know, every player on the team seems to have turned his season around. Is there one particular player, Ryan, that has really impressed you over this 16-game run?
Yeah, I think I got to go with Stuart Skinner. So 12 consecutive wins here, right? Broke Grant Fuhr's record. When things were going poorly at the start of the year, Jay, we did hits on this show. How much are we blaming the goaltenders? What's the right amount of blame for the goaltenders? Well, we know when it goes poorly, goaltenders always shoulder a big part of the blame, and deservedly so. Both Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner really struggled to start the year, but their numbers are so dramatically affected by the garbage play that was going on around them, so they probably took more than their fair share of the beating at the time. Stuart Skinner has locked his game in. Laser-like focus. Skinner is just winning game after game after game. He's not letting in the soft goals anymore. He's had a lot of nights, Jay, where at the other end, he's watched a goaltender go lights out because the Oilers are all the pressure's down at the far end. He'll see nothing for 6, 7, 8, 9 minutes and then make 4 or 5 fantastic saves. Like he's just zoned in. He's so calm in his demeanor. He's such a good speaker and a good teammate. He's always thinking about his teammates first and shouldering the blame. He is laser locked in right now, and it's been very impressive to watch.
Ryan, I know it's tough to see a great guy like Jay Woodcroft lose his job after the Oilers' tough start, but at what point do we really need to start acknowledging the incredible job that Kris Knoblauch and his staff have done over the course of this incredible 16-game run?
Yeah, about 13 games ago, to be honest with you, Jay. And I completely understand why. Lots of people were hesitant to heap too much praise onto Kris Knoblauch, because I think everybody knows Jay Woodcroft and his staff did a good job with this group. The results over the long term were very good, but those two things can be true at the same time. Jay Woodcroft and his staff did a good job. Kris Knoblauch and this staff are doing a phenomenal job with this group. The results bear that out without question. So he doesn't overhandle it. He doesn't, he doesn't get too deep into making all kinds of changes and moving things around all the time. And so his tweaks are subtle, and that's easier to do when you're winning, to be fair. But his fingerprints are all over this, right? Certain players have really blossomed under him. The team, just overall, the quality of their play and the way they've cut down their goals against has been quite phenomenal to turn around under him. The penalty kill, which he gave to Mark Stewart, right? He empowered somebody to do it, and that person, Mark Stewart, has done a phenomenal job with that penalty kill. Paul Coffey, comes in and has done a great job giving the defenseman the green light to play in a bit of a different way, and some more confidence you're seeing from them as well. One of the other things he did, Jay, is he said, one of the first things he did was he was like, all the defensemen, everybody go sit together on that side of the room. Moved them all over to the other side of the dressing room and sat them all together instead of them being scattered all over the place. And it's kind of created this cohesive group. None of these single things are the reason why this has turned around, but his fingerprints are all over this thing, and the results are undeniable. So, yeah, time to start giving him and his staff heaps of credit for what's happening here.
Ryan, we know the Oilers were a popular Stanley Cup winner pick at the beginning of the season. Then they go on their little swan song. It's not going great. We wonder if they're even going to make the postseason. Are they back to Cup contender at this point, in your opinion?
Yeah, they have to be. I mean, this run is unreal, and it takes something special to do this. I think the quality of their play, too, the two-way nature of their game, their ability to defend, it's going really well. It's funny, I'm thinking about this run in the 16 games, and I'm thinking what the late Robin Brownlee, longtime writer and columnist here in Edmonton, covering the Edmonton Oilers, who we just recently lost. I wonder what he would be saying about a team like this, Jay. It would probably be something along the lines of giving them their due for what it truly is an impressive streak, but also acknowledging what really matters is what's going to happen here in the playoffs. Because remember last year, they were very good down the stretch, one of the best teams in the league, and then they got to the playoffs, and a lot of that defensive quality came out of their game, and they started giving up and playing loose, right? This is about finding that base game now and then being able to rely on it come playoff time, and I think Robin probably would have been pointing that out too.
I think you're absolutely right about that. You know, the Oilers back on February the 6th. At that point, Ryan, it'll be 32 days to the trade deadline, and this team has, in a sense, added a piece in Corey Perry, a veteran who's definitely going to help them. First of all, I'm curious to get your thoughts on the Perry acquisition, but also what other moves do you see Ken Holland potentially making as we head to the deadline?
Yeah, I mean, on the ice, Corey Perry, was so many things that this team needed, right? One of the biggest things they were lacking is Stanley Cup pedigree in that room. Remember, Jay, when they went on that deep run, you remember who they had on the back end? Duncan Keith. They didn't have any of that on the team over the last couple of seasons here. So with Corey Perry, they immediately get that. They get someone who raises the compete level in the bottom six. This was a big, big add on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers. No question about it. I'll argue with you a little bit, though. They recently have had two adds to their lineup because Corey Perry they picked up, and then Dylan Holloway got healthy. They recalled him from the minors. What an injection of enthusiasm and energy. So they're two top probably 10 forwards better in the last week and a half here with the addition of those two. And really that does affect the needs at the trade deadline. You don't have to go out and fill those holes anymore. If I were guessing, I would say second line right winger, somewhere in that range. Warren Fogel's having a good year, but if Warren Fogel's on your third line, you're a heck of a good team. So maybe they look to upgrade in their top six over on that right side.
Do you see any potential goaltender additions, Ryan? I know the cap is tight. It's sort of a wishful thinking type of situation, but do you see Ken Holland at least wanting to do something like that?
I don't think so. And people might shake their heads and just like, what? But Calvin Pickard has been so good, and he has been so steady. Yep. And sometimes you got to just believe what your eyes are telling you.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to. So Stuart Skinner, clear-cut number one. Calvin Pickard has done a great job. Jack Campbell quietly is rehabilitating his game in the American Hockey League, yes, and has been very good here the last few weeks. So then there's even a third option. Oh, by the way, Rodrigue, one of the better goalies in the American Hockey League as well. So, I mean, you could say that they have 2 to 3 options that are viable at the backup position. Maybe not a ton of experience from Rodrigue, but I don't know the goaltending is going to be on their list the way some think it should be, Jay.
Ryan, you are so kind to take a little time for us before you head to the sunshine and enjoy your break. So enjoy that break because you're going to be working real hard if this team goes on a long playoff run. Thanks, buddy.
You bet, buddy. I got the floral print shorts on as we speak right now.
Oh, gosh.